Good evening, and thank you for tuning in. PokéTunes is the show where we analyze all the music of Pokemon. Today we begin with Pallet Town from Pokemon Red and Blue. Now I want to mention, there's a lot of versions of Pallet Town's music, but we're only covering the original version, because I'm looking to understand the piece in the state that reflects the circumstances of the composer when he wrote it. All the music from Red and Blue was written by Junichi Masuda, who was also a programmer at Game Freak. Masuda is still currently Pokemon's series producer, but he doesn't write that much music for the games anymore. The Game Boy sound chip could produce 3 pitches at once, 2 square channels and 1 wave channel. There was an additional channel that produced white noise and can be used for percussion, but not at the same time it was used for sound effects. If Masuda wanted both percussion and sound effects, he would have had to make the drums cut out whenever a sound effect played. With that said, he didn't use the noise channel at all in Pallet Town's music. The first section starts off in G major, with a 1-4-1-5 progression. This is very similar to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which contributes to its humble, comforting tone. The inversions of the 4 and 5 chords in the first section weaken the motion towards cadences, and give the piece a very amateur sound. It's incredibly important to remember that Masuda did not know he was writing the foundational music for the largest media franchise in the world, so you can't be too hard on him. In a way, the simplicity of his music was a blessing in disguise. It leaves room for interpretation and for remakes and reboots, of which there are many. That isn't to say that tonally weak music is bad in the context of a video game. Eric Satie, the French composer who wrote the Gymnopédies, spoke about the idea of furniture music, a style of music that was categorized by tonal weakness and ambiguity. His furniture music is incredibly calming and passive, a trait that Masuda's town music definitely shares. However, the high register of all the voices gets rather annoying after a while, so it's for the best that you don't hear this music frequently elsewhere in the game. You can spend a lot of time in menus in Pokemon games, so good route and town themes should avoid features like high-pitched sounds that could bother players, although it's fine if it's used sparingly. The structure of the first section is a standard parallel period. The first phrase, called the antecedent, is like a musical question that is answered by the consequent, which usually answers the question with a stronger cadence than the antecedent. In this case, the antecedent ends on a 5 chord while the consequent ends on a 1 chord. 1 chords are the most common harmony used to end musical phrases with a sense of finality. For about 2 centuries, composers have been moving away from these cadences, which has changed their rhetorical meaning. When composers write music that follows tonal rules as much as Masuda did here, it gives the music a folk-like quality that is immediately relatable and pleasing. The B section sounds straight out of a pop song. It uses a 4-5-1-6 progression, an obnoxiously overused blight on existence that anyone who grew up in the 2000s has burned into their memory. Anyway, this has been PokéTunes. Tune in next time when we talk about Pewter City, and good evening.